Hello, welcome back to Aero League Racing Round 3 at Road Atlanta for the Tier 2 GT7 Championship. My name is Ross Thorm, and this is the feature race, the 40-minute endurance race with a reverse grid from the sprint. So we've got Funk on pole with Nobbles in second, Ben third, and myself in fourth. We're going to get started straight away and see how this really tricky 40 minutes is going to go around a very technical track with hopefully a few different strategies going on. So we got Funk on the soft, he's going to try and get away pretty quickly from the chasing field. We've got a rolling start as we always do. Let's see what ends up happening through Sector 1. It looks like Harry is pushing me all the way up the hill. Everything seems good so far. We had a few offs in Sector 1. Previously, Harry's got a little queue behind him as he hasn't taken it as well as he would have liked. So that's kind of going to potentially open the door for him to get a move down the inside. Actually, no, he's actually under pressure from Chris. And he gets the cut back, and he's going to probably keep this position. Oh no! Hims is in the wall. Right, let's see what's going on at the front though. Yeah, it looks like I'm under pressure from Harry, which happened in the sprint race as well, due to the big difference in speed of the two cars. I'm going to protect the inside. Let's see what happens here as everyone else is kind of line astern. And I'm in the gravel. So that is my run done with. Chris has kept P6, which ends up becoming P5. Andy Winters took it into P6 after a great start for him, after finishing in the top 5 as well in the sprint race. And Tap, what happened there? Let's rewind a little bit. So Andy, oh no, Tap's just lost it all on his own. Never mind. And it looks like there was a off near the front as well. So we got Nobbles all over the back of Funk. Both of them are on the soft tyres and will want P1 just so that they got clean air. Oh, Nobbles is losing it all along the straight. And then he's on the grass. And then just to add insult to injury, his own teammate absolutely clatters him. And that puts his teammate all the way up into P3 because of mistakes by people ahead of him. And Chris has had a great start as well in P4. So this is great news for Funk, who has had a little bit of challenge at the start, but now he's got a little bit of clear air, and he's got a car behind him that is worse on straight line speed than him. So the odds that him get overtaken aren't so good as long as he keeps it on the track. Also, Ben is on mediums as well as he goes very wide into that corner. And what's going on here? Let's go back to the normal view. So there's a queue of cars behind Harry. Actually, it's basically the entire grid, apart from a couple of us that made mistakes. And is Chris going to get a move done on Harry here? He's had to overtake him in the sprint. He's going to have to do it again in the feature. Is he going to be braver on the brakes? He backs out of it very last second. And they all live to fight another day. Meanwhile, Funk has quite a decent lead, as does Ben. Looks like one of the cars behind was a little bit off track, as we got Woozy having a little challenge on Andy in turn 1. Very difficult to do, but they both made it work. And Payan, the race winner from the last race, is already up to P8. And Jack is just behind him as well in P9. Gerbo, by the way, is racing just the feature only because he couldn't make it back in time for the sprint. So he'll be trying to see what he can do from the very back of the grid. But let's join closer to the front. It looks like there's a little battle again between Harry and Chris. Actually, let's join the front because Ben has got. Let's rewind a little bit. Actually, how did this happen? So Funk, oh, Funk gets it all wrong in that corner where we've seen it happen a couple of times in the sprint as well. That's going to allow BO to close right up. Ben doesn't actually get, Funk doesn't actually get a penalty from that though, which is quite impressive. And he's going to try it later on the brakes. There's enough space left for both of them. And then I'm assuming Funk's going to get a little bit of a better run here with the better straight line speed. BO can tuck behind him and take advantage of the slipstream. Yeah, Funk protects the inside. Ooh, he cuts that corner a little bit, and that's going to compromise him on the exit. And BO is that vantage is good on exits with camber like that one, and he's going to take first place. That might be the first lap that BO has led. Oh, he goes a little bit wide. Funk cuts as well, and that just allows Harry to sweep through again as he gets a little bump draft from Chris behind him as well. So now Ben is in P1 and Harry is in P2, and it's all changing every couple of corners. Piling up to P7 now. It's all very, very close at the front. It's a massive shame that I spun on the first lap because I would have been in this little battle as well because they're all holding each other up. Anyway, looks like Harry's going to have a go at Ben. Harry definitely has the straight line speed to get this move done on the straight. Yeah, even way before the braking zone. Oh, and he gets a little bump. Oh, and he keeps it on the track. Oh, what's happening here? A little bit of a bump, and BO unfortunately gets bumped off there. Funk did get a little 5-second penalty for that as well because it was reported. Unfortunate for Ben because that was looking really good for him. He was challenging for the race win. As we've got all sorts going on, let's just rewind that. What's happening back here? So we got Chris who's made his way all the way up to P3 now. Funk goes off a little bit, Chris bumps into him, Chris goes off, Funk manages to keep it on the track, Chris is in the wall, falling back and back and back and back, and Andy capitalizes on all of that and gets himself up into P2. Very messy few corners there for Funk. Now is Andy going to be able to maybe even challenge for the lead of the race here? We've had 3 different race leaders so far. We've had BO, we've had Funk, and we've had Mighty Millie Smiley, who's leading right now. So everyone's really tucked in nicely behind. Oh, Funk's managed to outbrake Andy by far. Andy was probably trying to get the cutback, but yeah, Funk's braking was perfect there. And now is Andy going to try and make a move down into turn 1? No, he tucks back in behind. And the 3 are incredibly close together, with Owen now up into P4. Podium finisher in race 1. Ben's managed to get himself back up into P5 though, but he has got a big queue of cars behind him. We've got Payan and Woozy going side by side through Sector 1, which isn't an advisable plan. As they all tuck behind each other. What's going on at the front? Well, Funk is still ahead of Andy and behind Harry, so let's see what can... Is there going to be a move down into the chicane? Probably not. And he's dropped off a little bit, actually. Oh, there is a very, very late move by Funk, but he gets it all wrong. He goes into the gravel, just like what I did on lap 1. And he's going to lose P2, he's going to lose P3, and he's off again. Is he going to lose P4 as well to Owen? He leaves the door open. And Owen just flies through there, so Owen's on for a double podium as it stands. Ben's still holding everyone up behind him. Payan, Woozy and Jack, the front 3 in that, as Funk has a half-second penalty as well. So Ben might be able to get a little bit of revenge here and overtake Funk, who's actually made it incredibly easy for him. He gets all out of shape on the final corner of Sector 1. And now everyone down to Jack is queuing up to overtake him. And Chris will as well, despite his little trip into the wall. Everyone back here has had some sort of problem, definitely. But they're still not too far away from the race leaders, which shows what the pace has been like at the front. It hasn't been blisteringly quick like in the sprint race. No one's managed to really get away, and it also kind of shows how closely together this entire grid is as well. Let's see, is there anyone battling? All these guys, including myself, have had major problems, and we're all kind of just on recovery drives now. But let's join our race leader. So Harry, like I said, is new to GT. He's doing really well. He's leading in this race by a fair amount. In a car and on a track, well, the car doesn't suit the track, basically. It suits more high-speed tracks. If this was Daytona, he'd probably have like a 10-second lead over Andy. But it's not, so for him to be leading at all is very impressive, even though he had a front row start. Oh, what's he in third? I can't remember. This is a car that actually got a boost in the recent update that happened just before this race. It was the one car that is going to benefit the most on all tracks. It's been given basically a speed boost, a bit of a handling boost as well. So it seems to be working for Harry here. But it is still a handful. It's not one of the best cars at all in the league. But it is better than it used to be. As evidenced by the fact that he's got the fastest lap as well, but he's going to have to pit soon because he's on the softs and he's on the medium, so he's set to take the lead of the race. The other guys who started on the softs have dropped out of the top 8, I'm pretty sure. Let's see, medium, 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 medium. Him's on mediums with damage, and then we got Funk on the softs, Tap on mediums. I'm on mediums as well, and Nobbles is on the softs. Yeah, the top 3 started on the softs, but it'll be interesting to see what happens when Harry pits. I don't know if it'll be now or in a lap or two, but they don't have too much life left into them. It's going to allow Andy to close in, and Owen's really closing in quickly as well. Owen is the highest placed championship contender, so good prospects for the win potentially later down the line. We're only 11-12 minutes into a 40-minute race. As you hear the tyres screeching through Sector 1, there really is only, Turn 1, there really is only one real line through there. As Ben still has a bit of a queue behind him. Payan has got past though, but he is still in P5. Jack is the next to try and get a move done, as Jack's managed to get past Woozy as well. Oh, Ben gets a little bit out of shape coming out of the final corner. Is this going to open the door for Jack a little bit? In his black and gold livery. Not quite this time around. But we do have Woozy and Chris challenging each other. Chris might... oh no, he tucks it back in behind as Woozy gets his braking spot on. Harry's gone into the pits, that's why he's dropping down. I was going to try and see what happened there. He will drop really far back actually, because this is a long pit stop. As Chris tries to just distract Woozy a little bit. It does work actually, but not enough for him to get a move done quite easily. Jack ahead will be all over the back of Ben, coming out of Sector 1 as well, I'd imagine. So Jack and Chris definitely not having the best time of it in the feature race compared to Owen and Payan. Bio's a bit out of shape coming into Death Corner. And this could potentially give Jack a run. Chris is ahead of Woozy now as well. So it's important for Jack to get the job done here before Chris starts closing the door on him. He needs to get past Ben and start building a bit of a gap. Ben's defending really well though. Ben is on mediums as well. Let's just see where Mighty Mini Smiley came out. He's all the way down in 13th and he's got a 3.5 second penalty. So that'll damage his hopes of a podium a lot there, that 3.5 seconds, and the fact that he's not on the optimal strategy and he's not going to be on softs anymore. Owen is catching Andy really quickly, so let's join this battle for a little bit because it seems like Ben is holding off Jack pretty well. This Mitsubishi Lancer Evo isn't the hottest on straight line speed either. So if Owen was in a different car, maybe he would have had more of a chance of overtaking Andy on this straight, but he's got to just tuck in. He's probably playing the long game a little bit as well. He doesn't want to get into too many battles because this is a track where you have to look after your tyres. If you don't, you will be punished later on in the race or later on in your stint. As Ben looks like he's the first medium runner to pit. That's Andy's teammate. Oh, Owen had a little look. They had a tiny bump. And another tiny bump here. Owen's a little bit impatient, a bit naughty to be honest. But he does get the lead of the race. Andy could potentially take advantage of his slipstream and make things a little bit difficult coming up to the chicane, as Payan's closed in massively to these two. So Andy must have been losing a lot of time here. And yeah, he just tucks in behind and Owen will be able to consolidate his lead here, and it'll be Payan who's probably going to be trying to get a move done on Andy next. Our sprint race winner already only a couple of seconds away from leading the feature race as well. Jack is in P4 and Chris is in P5 now, so that's due to Ben pitting, yeah. So that's released Jack nice to just focus on putting in some good laps. Is Oh, as I say that, he's all out of shape and Chris is all over the back of him. But Chris ends up getting out of shape as well, but manages to avoid the spin. And Woozy is just behind them as well. So let's see what's going on near the front. Oh, that is Funk getting lapped. So he was leading the race a few laps ago and now he's a lap down, unfortunately. And all out of shape, so his chances of getting a good result are completely gone now. Not for these two though, as Payan is probably going to look to outbrake Andy here. Ooh, a little bit of a bump, but nothing too difficult, and Payan gets that place pretty easily on his tyres, which are almost dead, but Andy's definitely are, and he goes into the pits. So Jack carries on with Chris just behind him. So definitely the pit window for the mediums is open right now. What's going on a little bit further down? Woozy. Hims, hasn't had the best race, but he's still in P6. What about Jebo, who is holding off Tap and myself here? This was like the closest battle going on. His tyres are completely dead compared to Tap's and mine, which both have a little bit more life. Oh, Jebo made a mistake. That's going to open the door for Tap. And Tap takes place easily. Am I going to be able to get in there as well? I have a look. The door's left open. And Jebo's on the grass. And I'm taking the curb to try and avoid him. And he's sliding. But he's in the BMW, which has an amazing engine. So he's probably, I can't remember, he's probably going to keep this position. Which is great news for Tap, because I was catching him up really quickly there. Oh, I thought I was going to spin again there. I didn't, so that's good. Actually, I managed to am I going to be able to overtake him into turn 1? Let's see. No. Yeah, you can see how much he's holding me up though. And he's really twitchy. His car's not too good on the tyres once they lose their grip. The BM M6, which is probably the best BMW. There's a few different BMWs. It is the car that won the Tier 1 championship last season by a country mile. Here we go. Am I gonna... He leaves the door open again, and he gets a bit out of shape on those dead tyres, and I just sweep back through. This is when I expect everyone to start pitting now. I think that battle's done. Let's see. Oh no, Pine and Owen are going around for another tour, as are Chris and Jack. And Woozy. So everyone thinks they can get another lap out of them, including Tap. Jebo's definitely... oh no, he's even going again, despite having completely red tyres. Following the crowd. So unfortunately, Harry's got a bit more work to do if, well, maybe fortunately, he's still got clear air. His laps have been in the 18 since he's come out of the pits. Fastest laps are 17.2 by Andy, who did rejoin behind him actually. So Andy was, you know, leading the race, and he comes out behind Harry, so that's really good news for Harry and his prospects of coming out ahead of, well, back in first place once all the pits are done. No, there's Ben and Funk, who is a lap down. Yeah. So let's join Owen again. Let's see, because Payan's closing him down a little bit. They've been pretty close since, well, some of the other front runners pitted. They're both going round once again. So very varying strategies. Some cars probably are on two-stop strategies, actually thinking about it. So Mighty Mini Smiley, Andy, and BO are probably going to have to make two stops. which I don't think is the optimal strategy. Top 8 definitely are going to be one stopping. We are 23 minutes into the race now. Well, you can see how much time they're losing. He's already a second down on his fastest lap there. Must have made a little bit of a mistake as well, because Owen is a fair whack ahead of him. Jack is still fending off Chris here on completely dead tyres. Chris's tyres are a little bit better than his. And is this going to be the straight where Chris gets onto the podium? Like I said, the top 4 championship contenders are the top 4 in the race right now. Didn't take them long to work their way back through the pack. All on very similar strategies for the race as well. Oh, Jack goes really wide there, but Owen's in the pits. Jack's coming straight in the pits as well, and Chris decides to do another lap. So Chris is going to be the leader of the race. Him's in the pits. What about Woozy, who's dropped a little bit behind Him's there? Must have had a mistake. Yeah, Tap as well, me as well. And let's see what happens with Harry. He's pretty much halfway through his stint on the mediums now. Is he going to get... Yeah, he's in P2, so... He's got a chance of making this work if he can avoid any more mistakes. Andy Winter swoops in at P3 as well. Is Ben going to get P4? No, Owen comes out comfortably ahead of Ben, as does... Oh, Payan just misses out on it, so he's going to be fighting Ben all the way through Sector 1. Payan needs to overtake Ben very quickly here if he wants to keep his race on track and potentially challenge for the win as well. Chris has finally made his pit stop, so I think going an extra lap won't work out too hotly for Chris. He's going to be that in lap will have been incredibly slow, as Payan gets a move around the outside into the entry into the chicane, but Ben is still there, not making it easy for Payan. And they're still side by side, but Payan has got the move done for now. Ooh. Yeah, and I expect him to start driving away quickly. So Jack was just ahead of Chris going into the pits. There he is going through, and there is Chris behind him. So he's probably gained a second through pitting a lap earlier. And he's consolidated his position ahead of Chris, which is technically a net podium position. Because Ben and Andy both, and Harry, will all have to pit again. What's happened to Harry? So Andy was right behind Harry. I don't know what happened there for that to happen. And he kind of barges his way past into Death Corner. But Harry will have the chance to get this position back. Like I said, that Ford's straight line speed is fantastic. And he gets it done way before the corner. So all that battling for nothing really for Andy, apart from losing a few seconds to the cars behind. He's all over the back of Harry still. A ridiculous amount of changes for the lead of the race so far in this feature race. Andy also has the fastest lap as well, 17.2. So this will be a little bit more comfortable for Harry. He's managed to keep ahead, and if that Vantage can do something in the slipstream here, I'll be astounded. He can just keep pace, basically. That's it. He can't, unless he tries a very, very late move under braking. It's comfortable for Harry for now, and he lives to survive another lap. Who finishes higher between these two is probably going to depend on who... Oh, they both pit at the exact same time. I'm going to say it depends on that, but as Andy bumps Harry into the pits, and Owen takes the lead of the race now. Payan is a comfortable second, so I wonder if it's just going to be a Sunday drive for these two to the finish. Chris in third place now has managed to overtake Jack, so let's see where that happened. Well, a long time ago. Let's see. So Chris manages around the outside, as has been done a lot on these Nissan cars. But anyway, let's rejoin where we were, and Chris didn't manage to pull much of a gap at all on Jack there. And Hims is a solid P5 with Woozy 6th. See if there's any battles going on further down the field. Woozy's all on his own. Tap is a little bit ahead of me. P7 and P8. Andy is battling really hard with Gerbo there after coming out of the pits. And this is bad news for Andy and Harry. This is why the two-stopper doesn't really work around here, because it's difficult to get overtakes done, and the pit lane's long as well. But Jebo's going to try a move as well. Harry, yeah, he's gonna catch up to these guys fairly soon because he's on the softs, and then Ben and Funk are just struggling at the back. So let's see what's happening here. So I'm pretty close to Tap. We always end up pretty close together on track, to be fair. I think we've got a very similar pace. Lost a bit of ground on Tap there. Andy, as he pulled away from Gerbo, a little bit, not too much actually. So I expect Andy, with slightly fresher tyres than me and Tap, probably will close the gap a little bit there. Chris now with a huge fastest lap up at 16.7. So that kind of shows he was being held up pretty much all race, and now he's got some clear air. He's really putting in impressive lap times. 8 minutes left of this feature race. If you can hear that, that is just my dog dreaming and barking in her sleep. I don't know if you can hear that. Yeah, not too many battles going on down the grid though. Oh, here we've got Harry has caught all the way up to Gerbo, so let's see what he can do. Started on complete opposite sides ends of the grid, but have ended up in the same part of the track at this stage because of differing strategies. Harry does try and move, and ooh, Gerbo does really well to keep it on track there, but does lose his spot in the top 10 as a result. As we've got, yeah, everyone's doing pretty solidly at the moment. Everyone's kind of settled into the race really well. Mistakes have stopped. People are just trying to get on with their strategies and see what happens. But we do have 6.5 minutes left plus the rest of the lap that they're on after the 40-minute timer sounds. And these soft tyres probably will not be looking as good as they are right now by the time we get there. See how fast Andy's going. So he did a 17.3. I did a 17.8, so he's catching up to me by half a second a lap. 17.5 for Tap, which means he's pulling a little bit of a gap to me at the moment. And Harry 17.7 because he had to get around Gerbo, who's on a 19.2, so he's all over the place, and his tyres are pretty dead as well. But Harry gets a second penalty, so potentially Gerbo has a chance to get his position back here. He probably does, he's not too far behind. Really unfortunate for Harry. Really easy to get a second penalty in the place that he did at the end of Sector 1. Let's see now. Gerbo brakes a bit earlier. Ooh. Tries to squeeze Harry. Harry doesn't, well, kind of barges his way back past, but I think that's completely fair. And Harry gets the spot back almost as soon as he lost it. But it does keep him out of contention for this battle with the top 7, I think. Ooh, I got a little bit off track there, not too good. Definitely caught up to Tap quite a lot though. Could potentially be an opportunity to get an overtake done as we head into the straight. That's if Tap makes a bit of a mistake on Death Corner right here. Not really. It's going to be quite line astern between the three of us. Andy, with fresher softs, is really going to be becoming a factor towards the end of this race. Let's just have a little flicker through. So Jack is still fairly close to Chris, but nowhere near having a kind of challenge. Payan is very similar as well. He's just been maybe a second or two behind Owen this whole time, but Owen has much better tyre wear, so I expect him to be able to rely on that as the race draws to a close and keep his position ahead of Payan. Yeah, Payan's sliding a little bit. Here we go. There's a lot of drivers are really close together now. Andy looks like he's got himself a second penalty somewhere. I think I have to go a little bit defensive from him because he's got a bit of a run. All three cars separated by less than a second at the moment. Definitely gives me and Tap a lot of breathing space though, having the car that has the freshest tyres and has been competing at the front all race. Getting a penalty there. As you see just how far away that puts Andy, and it really penalises him as the weather starts to turn a little bit as well. So Tap 18.3, I did an 18.5, so he did pull away by a couple of tenths. 19.7 for Andy due to his error. And we've got Gerbo, and Harry must have had a big mistake somewhere because he's miles behind. So let's continue to follow us because Tap's tyres are pretty much dead, and I do have better tyres than him. So he's going to be, oh, he's all out of shape in the opening part of this really tricky sector. And there it is. That's what I've been waiting for. I lost it again. Back up and running already though. But yeah, could have charged P7 and it drops me down to P9, and that ends any sort of battling unless Andy can catch Tap in the last couple of laps. So let's join near the front again, as Chris looks like he's got a lot of space on Jack now, whose tyres are completely gone. Payan is incredibly close to Owen, despite the difference in tyre life. So it's going to be a good little climax to the end of the race to see if Payan can get a move done. As he goes a little bit off track there, a lot of drivers have been doing that. It seems to be able to get away with it. Oh, very big snap there for Owen, but he manages to get away with it. That's what driving with zero traction control will do for you. Let's ride on board for a second. There we go. Owen wins the race ahead of Payan. Chris, excuse me, is going to take P3 and manages to get a podium after a poor sprint race. Jack married up a P2 with a P4 there. And for the rest of the grid, Hims, this is like basically Formula 1.5 here. Hims in P5, so he is the best of the rest. Woozy P6, really solid pair of results for Woozy. Tap gets 7th. Andy in 8th. My mistake puts, well, a couple of huge mistakes puts me down into P9. And Ben looks like he's going to round off the top 10 after leading the race for a little while. He's, out of fuel. So that's going to put Harry in 10th. Oh, Gerbo in 11th. And Ben all the way down in 12th after he runs out of fuel. Big mistake there. And we've got Funk, who's had a nightmare of a race. He's already won a race this season, but this race was definitely one to forget. He finishes in 13th. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. I usually commentate Tier 5, so if you enjoy my commentary, give those races a watch. Cheers.